This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Power on. Get ready. Power on.
It's time to take your place on the starting grid and get ready for Racer Radio. Your host, Dave Stahl, about to take you for a white-knuckled lap around the motorsports industry, covering everything from top-notch national drivers and crew chiefs right down to your local kid racers and racetracks. Watch for the apex, because here comes Racer Radio with Dave Stahl.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. This is Racer Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This is the longest-running motorsport show in San Diego County, and I'm thrilled to be part of it. All right, we got Brittany in the house, and he's got this young gentleman with his nose in her ear. I guess we should put a walkie-talkie on him. How you doing, Britt?
I'm very well, thank you.
I see you lost 10 pounds by going to the track last night.
Hey, it was only 111 when I showed up. It had gone down from 112. So
I know.
91 degrees, 111. What's the difference? Yeah. It's all hot, and I wasn't wearing a fire suit. So.
Tomatoes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So who you got in today?
Dave.
What?
Dave, you're going to have to tell the listeners something.
You're standing up.
You're going to have to tell the listeners what I'm putting on.
Putting on a belt that looks like a seat belt.
Put on a seat belt.
Oh.
I put on a seatbelt,
clever.
A Chevy
because
seatbelt.
Yes,
because of our guest today.
You have a Chevy seatbelt on, driving a Mustang.
I would have preferred a Ford, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. It was a nice gift.
Okay, and we're talking two wheels.
Well, we're talking a lot of things. The reason I'm wearing the seatbelt is because the gentleman to the right is a hoot.
Okay.
And the gentleman to my left is a legend. And so I wanted to make sure to buckle in so I don't miss a beat.
Okay.
This guy to my right, I've known most of my life. He raced motorcycles with my father for decades.
Yeah.
What I've learned about him is if you hang out with him for long, you're going to end up on an adventure with a good story.
There you go. And who might it be?
That's Smokin Joe, who you want to give a quick shout out to someone who has a birthday?
Hello, birthday girl, Angela.
His daughter. That's his daughter. My main squeeze has a birthday as well. Happy birthday, Steve. I don't know if the legend next to me, I don't know, maybe he has a name to shout out. This guy to the left has quite a list of names.
Resume?
Well, yeah. I've seen him referred to as a Honda twin. He and Marty Smith were referred to as the Honda twins. I saw that in the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
Marty Smith even referred to him as a bad ASS. I saw that in an interview.
Okay.
He's smiling and I think acknowledging, saying yes.
Even
Bob Hanna said regarding Marty Smith and the gentleman, the legend to my left, that they were aliens because they were out of this world, and the only way he could beat them is if their motorcycles broke.
Yeah, you have done your homework, haven't you?
Yes.
All right.
The legend to my left is Tommy Tomahawk Croft, one of our local legends.
Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Woo.
Man.
Thank you.
Didn't she do a good job?
Yes, very good.
So, Tommy, I've seen you many a times. Always amazed. Joe, I haven't seen you quite as much, but I have seen a lot of Croft. And there's something about being able to ride motocross takes a special breed. I truly believe.
Yes, it does, and it comes from a young age also. And when I started up, not as quite as young as they are now, but my first race was in 7th grade, and I signed with Factory Honda when I was a senior in high school.
Wow. So, what was your first bike? What's the first bike you raced?
Hodaka Super Rat. And I just restored one back to original condition. Yes. So that's kind of something I like to do on the side is restore vintage bikes.
Do you do Cal VMX by chance?
Yes, I know Frank and all of them, and I'm going to do a race for Scott Burnsworth in Cal VMX on the 20th. It's going to be a tribute ride, and we're going to do a moto all on Elsinores from the early 70s. And I'll be riding out on the 20th at Glen Helen.
Oh, I love the Elsinore bike. In fact, if you go down to the Automotive Museum, they've got Steve McQueen's Elsinore on display.
Oh, yeah. And that was in the early 70s, right through my era. And the bike that I just started rebuilding with my buddy Norm Francis he is a 1974 125 Elsinore.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, I didn't care what size an Elsinore was. Not only did it look good, but it rode good.
Yeah, that's why when I actually had gotten the call to ride for Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda, and of course Marty was riding for Honda, he called me up and said, well, Tom, you're going to come ride for Honda with me, right? And people asked me, well, you didn't want to go with Yamaha or Suzuki, but Honda was a pretty easy choice, and being with my buddy Marty, and
sure.
And we just had a great time racing together.
I'm telling you.
Is it true that you were a senior in high school and you were a factory rider?
Yes, we. When I signed with Honda, my team manager came to my school and told him that I had just got signed, and he had a big list of all the places that I would be all around the country, and I didn't have to go to school on Friday. I would fly out on Friday and race on the weekend and fly home on Monday.
Yeah.
Wow.
So compared to motocross today, because I'm sure you stay on top of it. And by the way, Joe, we're not giving up on you.
No, not Smokin' Joe.
Because we still have another whole segment. We'll probably let you talk even more.
Well, that's good. I want you to talk to Tommy. He's
he knows a legend.
A lot about Marty Smith.
Yeah. So the motocross that you rode back in the day, the Hodakas and the Hondas, compared to motocross today, how much of a difference would you say there is?
It's quite a bit, obviously, being a two-stroke. And but the main thing about our bikes were they were all handmade for us from Honda Japan, and we were the first era to start beating the Europeans when they would come over here. So that was the golden years of motocross.
Sure.
People ask me, wouldn't you rather be doing it now? And I said, no, to race through those years and race with Roger DeCoster and Heike McCullough and Adolf Wheel and all the Europeans, and then of course all the American guys too. It was a great time, and we did a lot of testing for suspension back through that era for all the production bikes also.
Right.
So we kind of built the suspension era.
Well, you were the test dummy, so to speak. I mean,
exactly, and
if it worked at the racetrack, then it's going to work on the street.
Yes, exactly, and just like everybody does, it was part of our contract to test the production bikes that come across, take them home, ride the heck out of them, see what breaks.
Broke your heart, huh, to have to ride all these new bikes, right?
Yeah, it was that was a good way to make a living when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Right.
And how old were you?
I was 18 when I signed with Honda.
But you're not the first high school kid that got signed by a motorcycle corporation.
Well, actually, it was back in the early 70s. It was just me and Marty before they started doing it now. So we were kind of the first ones that...
Because I thought Marty got signed out of high school as well.
Yeah, the two of them.
Yeah, he signed in 11th grade and I signed in 12th grade.
Right, exactly. Well, and that just goes to show you that those folks out there were looking. Now, let me ask you this. Was that your goal to race professionally, or were you just having fun? They seen you and offered you this opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Back then, now they kind of are grooming the kids to be
very
just like
age.
Baseball and football and stuff. And back then, it really wasn't our goal. We just really didn't think of it. Just having fun and winning races, and the better that you're winning, you make some money at the local events. And ride other people's bikes and stuff, and next thing you know, you start winning a lot, and you get picked up.
You're a bright light in a dark room, is what it amounts to, because everybody's looking around and saying, "Do you see that Croft guy? Look at that! Look at that! We got to go talk to him." And that's back in the day when they would come and recruit young riders. And, hopefully you're writing a book someday, or you're telling everybody some of these stories to get it on paper. No? Yes?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing quite a few interviews, and, and I always get asked back to do things. So what's really nice is that the following that we still have, from way back then, and the people that call and want pictures and autographs and stuff, it's all around the country. And that always surprises me. That
I was going to say, and you're humble as can be.
Yeah,
I know.
It just really surprises me.
Because that's not why you did it.
No, not at all.
You did it to have fun.
Yeah.
And Marty was always the same way.
Yeah.
Marty never looked at it as, I'm going to end up with a 5-bedroom house and all that. No, Marty was just out there just like you, couple of guys from Southern California having fun. All right, we got to take a quick break. But don't you go anywhere, folks, because we're going to chat with these two at the 3:45 slot. So, did you all notice how quiet Brittany was? There's a first.
I was just looking in awe.
Somebody
There's
write that down. Somebody write that on a piece of paper.
I hope that those who love motocross, maybe the young guns out there, will stop and take a moment, appreciate, look into his history. Just
and
for the sake of themselves and the sport that they say they love.
And what we're going to do is we're going to try to find an hour that we can bring them both back when we have No, I'm serious, because this is the kind of stuff that we want to get on tape for people down the road. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to FM 96.1, AM 1170. The answer. Oh, sorry, I stole your window.
I'm still supposed to be quiet.
So Smokin Joe. Wait a minute, doesn't somebody else already have that name? Wasn't there a drag racing guy called Smokin Joe?
I don't remember anybody like that.
You were probably around first.
I was the guy.
Didn't want to point out the obvious. Sorry, the listeners know I'm a vet driver, which means I'm of a certain age, and I'm the young one.
You're the spring chicken sitting over there.
I'm one of those motorcycle racers that raced in the desert for 18 years and nobody saw you race.
Nobody.
You race 100 miles, 150 miles, and you get to the finish line and there's no celebration, nothing.
Nope. What year did you start racing?
74.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I got 18 years of racing in.
All right.
They're still active.
Yeah, we still race.
Both of them. He was at the track this morning.
Yeah.
And the legend to my left, just second place. In the mid-400?
I guess she's not going to call you by your name. I guess you're just Mr. Legend.
Sorry, it's just Legend.
Well, we won our class, single-seat vintage buggy, and got second overall in the mid-400. And now we're just getting ready. A lot of the races were shut down, so we're just getting our car back ready for.
Have you done Nora yet?
No, we didn't do Nora. We just...
you got to do Nora. At least one time in your life.
That's Mexico, right?
Yeah, and it's on the Baja Peninsula on the east side.
Right, I know all about it.
And it's not a race. It's a quasi-rally. Gosh, look at the scenery. I've never had a chance to look at the scenery type of a race.
Exactly. You know, we had loaned our car to someone that did race it down there, but... I don't go down there myself, but
it's a 5-day. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's not cheap, but it's really a classic.
Which all the vintage cars are down there.
That and motorcycles as well.
Exactly.
And it's funny. I was talking to Walker Evans, and he was the one that made the comment. He goes, "Josh, I never realized how pretty the scenery was." Because when you're racing,
he's not paying attention.
You're not sightseeing. Okay.
Just me.
So Smokin Joe, what was your first bike?
My first bike was a Kawasaki.
Okay.
But I was play riding at the time, and when I started racing, I was smart enough to go to Husqvarna.
See his hat, Dave?
Yeah, I'm a Husky guy. I love Huskies.
And I still have a Husky. I have two of them.
I was going to say you have more than one.
Yeah.
No motorcycle guy has one motorcycle. It's just not.
I've got a 350 that I race with.
Yeah.
And I've got a 510. It's more like a Baja.
Yeah.
Which
bike.
did you ride this morning?
350. It's a supercross bike.
How old are you?
148.
Not how old do you feel.
Yeah, right. Not how old do you feel.
Yeah.
Well, I bring that up only because a lot of people don't realize if you stay in shape and you take care of yourself, there's no age limitation.
That's true.
Don't you agree?
I do agree. And people run marathons at certain age groups.
Sure. It's all about taking care of yourself.
It's the same thing with motorcycle racing. They have age classes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they have a senior class. Cal VMX does an absolutely awesome job.
Absolutely.
Here in San Diego, and a bunch of older gentlemen, and I think they got some ladies in there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, they have a women's class.
Sure, absolutely.
Just keep moving. Good. I think I just saw an interview with Lightfoot, a musician, but he said the secret potion is motion. Like, just keep moving.
I'm getting all kinds of messages. Mark has 3 Huskies in the garage, ranging from 81 to 2016.
Ooh.
So I'm getting all kinds. Well, and I knew that this hour or this show was going to be really popular. I really did, because we're at Motorcycle Mecca, right, guys?
Right.
Yep.
A hotbed.
And the reason that San Diego was promoted and developed so many excellent riders, factory riders, is because of the climate.
Mm-hmm.
and the open areas to ride.
Right.
Which is all shut down now.
Remember Carlsbad?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't that an unbelievable? You keep hitting your head.
I know, I get excited.
Can you wear your helmet next time? That way we won't have any.
Don't tempt me.
But Carlsbad Raceway, I mean, I used to watch it on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
When they used to have the races there. That was an awesome track.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I liked that downhill. It was pretty fast.
It was a downhill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with how much suspension? 3-4 inches.
Yeah. I used to before I started racing, I used to go up to Carlsbad and enjoy watching Lars Larson race up there with Rolf Tiblin. And they would run Grand Prix, and we'd go watch them. And Marty Smith came in there racing those Grand Prix also.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no kidding. Start talking. I got to send a text to our board office.
Well, you brought up Marty Smith, a Smokin' joke. What were you guys doing in those later years? Because I was surprised to hear about that.
Well, Marty Smith was one of my heroes. Marty Tripes was my first hero because he was the first guy that won a Supercross, L.A. Coliseum.
That was a wild track.
That was wild, and so I had 3 Marty heroes: Marty Moats, Marty Tripes, and Marty Smith.
Yeah.
And in the later years, Marty Smith had a motocross clinic, and since I raced desert and knew how to go fast, like 4th, 5th gear, but I didn't know how to turn, so I used to take his classes, and we became friends.
Yeah. No.
And now Tommy Croft is teaching me how to ride.
What are you teaching him?
Well, we've gone out a couple times and just helping him get through the corners and his positioning on his body on the bike, has bodies on the bike, and getting through the turns faster and
you
smoother.
know, it's funny you should say that because I never even thought about it, but I took a speedway flat track school. And that was their big thing about sitting up on the edge of the seat.
Oh, yeah, your body English is everything.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I know. It's just unbelievable. But, you know.
Because of that, I only recently learned to really get my rear end to come around on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
My little KX100 was just the position.
Hang it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about.
That was fun.
It's all about body control. And then once you can figure that one out. And then even with the speedway bikes, I mean, you know, we're now, you know, I can't think of his name. Gosh, I can't think of his name. He was the one that first introduced dragging his knee.
Kenny Roberts.
Kenny Roberts, thank you very much. It's in our buddy's book.
Yeah.
And he got in the habit of dragging his knee, and everybody looked at him like, what? And then all of a sudden, everybody's doing it.
Imitation, finest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and then they turn around and now they're making their leathers, you know, with special knee pads.
So they can drag them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I watched the documentary on Valentino Rossi. Well, he was one of the 6 they highlighted, and even he has changed his riding style over the last couple of decades. And it showed a picture from like 20 years ago when he was in a turn, and then now present day in a turn, and it's significantly different. So you have to adapt.
Yeah.
Probably to the machine and the competitors, and your eyes are going back and forth. You have something on your mind.
If you follow that Moto America, Jake Gagne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, his dad was my mechanic when I retired from motocross and started racing in the Mickey Thompson series. That's where I met Ivan Stewart, and I drove for Factory Chrysler, and Mark Gagne, his dad was my mechanic. He grew up in my neighborhood, and he went to all the Mickey Thompson races and ended up winning 5 championships in the Mickey Thompson series.
Wasn't that an amazing series?
Yeah, it was
Who
great.
would think that you could pack Jack Murphy Stadium with trucks only going 40, 50 miles an hour?
Yeah, well, you know, I always tell people, because I ended up racing NAS trucks, and I only raced all the super speedways, California, Daytona, Texas.
Probably Ontario.
Yeah, and Homestead down there. And I tell people, I go, gosh, my whole career I never went over 60 miles an hour, and now I'm going 187. I go, it's quite a change, you know. It was a big change. They go, what do you mean? I go, well, I've been in stadiums and motocross, you know, you don't go very fast.
Yeah, it's hard finding your underwear at those big tracks.
Exactly.
Let me tell you, it's crazy. But no, and I was such a fan of the Mickey. In fact, if you come to my house, I have a fender that was ripped off of Ivan Stewart's stadium truck, nailed to the wall in my garage.
I drove the red Jeep.
Yeah, I know which one you drove.
Yeah.
It kind of, you jogged my memory then I went, holy my goodness gracious, look, Goosebump City.
I ended up got a lot of records set in that. I the most wins in a row.
Yeah.
With 8 wins in a row and set fast time for I think like 2.5 seasons, and then and won 3 championships in a row. And then my other one was in a Class 10 single seat buggy. And then I missed a year and then came back and won another one.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I wish they'd bring back the Mickey Thompson series.
Yeah, it was. It was going so great, and even when we were up in Seattle, one of the last races they had, it still filled up the stands, but all of the truck guys left, and when Mickey died,
right,
they just didn't keep it. Yeah, it just wasn't the same, and they didn't keep the sponsors happy like he knew how to do it.
He was the best.
So it just kind of fizzled out. But I mean, that series, you had motocross, you had the quads, there was always something for somebody that whatever sport
and the
you
trucks.
liked.
And the trucks were the king. The trucks were the king.
And the sport utilities like I drove.
Yeah.
And so there was, and the little ones too, the Odysseys back then. So there was just something for everybody to come there and watch.
Yeah, Mickey Thompson, another one, left way too soon.
Yeah, that was a sad.
That was a sad thing, and I mean to be able. He came up with the idea of those K rails filled with water.
Oh, yeah.
So when the race was over, you dumped the water out, load them up on a truck, and you went to the next race. Hey, let's take a quick break because when we come back, we got these two guys for another 15 minutes.
Yay,
this is going to be so much fun right here on Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. You are listening to Racer Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
2 very, very, very special guests in the house. A legend and a half a legend.
Oh, come on.
But
man.
I didn't say which one was a half.
Well,
you didn't.
It's
That's
kind of but you know why? Because he only knows half of your story.
Yeah, because
he only knows the motorcycle. You don't know the other half of his story, and 2 halves.
And that's probably why he's in good shape. Hey, we want to thank our sponsor for this segment, Certified Car Clinic, 11370 North Woodside Avenue. Anything you drive, they can make it go faster. Whether it's a stock car, race car, motorhome, dirt car, even motorcycle. Certified Car Clinic, right over there on Woodside Avenue, right next to the drive-in. Just look for the Certified Car Clinic sign. All right, we have got I'm going to let you introduce our special guest.
You mean Smokin Joe to my right, and Tommy Tomahawk Croft.
Okay, before we go to Smokin Joe, what's up with the Tomahawk? Because you have a full head of hair.
Yeah, well, motocross guys all have nicknames.
Right.
And Jim Weinert, back in, I think it was 76, he would always give someone a nickname. And I'm a bit Aztec Indian, and Tom Tomahawk. Yeah, it just stuck like glue. I mean, it didn't even have to think twice about it. It was just there, and people go, well, how do you like that? I go, well, I don't really think I have a whole lot to say about it. It's followed me all the way since I've been 18. You know?
What's that old saying? I don't care what they're talking about me, as long as they're talking about me.
Yeah, exactly.
And Smokin Joe, where'd that come from?
And Brittany asked me if he was sensitive about his tomahawk.
I was just making sure in these times.
Well, no one told me.
I was going to let you figure out the whole hard way.
Thanks. Just step in it big time. I see how you're rolling.
There you go.
Tell us how you got Smokin Joe, but I am going to say he gave my dad his nickname that he had on his leathers.
What's your dad's nickname?
He's Corn-Fed. He says you gave him that name.
The Corn-Fed, yeah.
Corn-Fed?
Well, yeah, he's the meat man. He was the meat man for years.
I'll take Tomahawk over Corn-Fed any day.
I guess.
And then Corn-Fed turned into Corn Dog.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, boy, that's getting deep.
But anyway, there was my favorite. I have my favorite motocrossers, and I have my favorite boxers.
Yeah, because you box.
And Smokin Joe Frazier was probably my favorite boxer.
Yeah.
I just liked his style because he had good defense and he was crouched and he threw that hook just the way I liked it.
But he couldn't swim.
No.
He was so big in the shoulders and the neck, he couldn't swim. He couldn't get his arms over.
So anyway, I train in boxing gyms to stay
in shape.
Stay fit so I can ride dirt bikes.
You did it so the dirt bike guys would leave you alone. That's what that was all about. No one's going to mess with you.
That one. That's another story, but about Rex Staten, Tommy.
Tommy's over here. Boy, he had to stop smiling since he walked in the door. I love that.
No, hey, she asked me to bring somebody cool, and I said, it's got to be Tommy Croft.
Oh, my gosh. I know.
Cool cat.
Totally a cool cat.
Yeah, I've
absolutely.
Got Marty Tripes and Lars Larson.
Is Marty called in?
A ton of other guys.
Well, let's put that guy on the line. Hey, Marty, what's going
Marty's
on?
There. Oh, okay.
Hey, the pizza guy's up front. He bought 7 pizzas yesterday.
That's what I heard.
He wouldn't come get it, so I'm here to collect today. Where's the guy in charge? I got 7 pepperoni pizzas for you guys.
Oh, man.
I don't know. It looks like Brenda's going downstairs. It looks to me like. So, what are you up to? We're going to do an hour show in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to have you come in studio because I think it'd be a hoot.
Well, that'd be pretty hard. These days, I'm only good for about 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, right. I got a feeling you're as bad as these two guys. What do you think?
Hey, before we get on with this thing, guys, need to give a shout-out to all our East County families and friends out there. Danny Wade. Jim Beatty had his house burned down last year. And he just finished, and it's over there. And Matlock's and Medeiros, all you guys, Keith Linus, we're all praying for you.
Yeah, I know. I live in Alpine, and I didn't even go to the race last night just because I didn't want to leave because you never know where that fire was going to go. But, man, oh, man. Yeah, you're right. With the winds and the temperature, it's crazy.
So what about this tomahawk?
Oh, there it goes.
Here it goes. I don't know. He's in here just talking you know what. I mean, and no one's here to defend him.
Yeah, talking smack about you, Marty.
You know, that tomahawk, it definitely stuck with them. But if you go back to the days in Aztec Indian, you're an Indian like me. I'm a Checomex. Aztec Indian on one side and Czechoslovakia on the other. But the best way to describe Tommy Croft, on a Hodaka at Carlsbad, and he's got a chrome tank. Bikes didn't have chrome tanks back there. He has a chrome helmet.
I saw that.
Jumping in the wind and then through the air. He's got about a 2-foot long ponytail flying through the air. And I thought that was the sexiest thing I ever saw in my life.
Let's keep it clean.
Yeah, really. Well, you know, Tommy, you may think about regrowing that tomahawk. What do you think?
Then you got old Smokin Joe. His real name is Smoldering Joe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Joe. You think you're going to get away with this stuff on TV or radio? No.
No, not a chance.
Hey, well, what about when we were in the hot tub in Tecate after a long ride, buddy?
Well, you were trying to get a little too fresh too quick here, Joe. Let me tell the story.
Okay.
So old Smokin Joe goes to one of our Borrego Negro rides, which Jim Beecham is part of us. We were 4 of it. Matlock has passed away, so we're only
There's 3 of us.
And that's it's Smokin Joe, Jimmy Beecham, and myself. So we put on this ride for charity in Mexico, and we put kids through college and school.
Wow.
So we do a lot of good. We raised enough money. We bought a van to take folks back and forth to church down there. And so you get the idea. But in this ride, it's very difficult. So to get an idea for these people out there, how difficult it is, lunch is at the 43-mile mark. That takes 3.5 hours for the good riders and 5 for the intermediates.
Wow.
You basically never get out of first gear. It's up this mountain, down this hill, under this tree, through this stream, and it's very demanding. So at halfway, you can go directly back to the ranch, we call it, and get on a plop and have some carne asada and a cold beer. Old Smokin Joe decided he would go on the triple black diamonds, like snow skiing. That's like for pros only.
Yeah.
And we usually only have out of 150 riders, 30 might go that. Old Smokin Joe thought he would do that.
I thought it'd be fun, Marty. You told me. You told me it'd be fun.
You listened to Marty was your first mistake.
I shouldn't have. Tommy says I shouldn't listen to you.
Definitely not.
Marty, are you one of these guys? Hold my beer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'd hold him too.
Hey, but tell him the good part about when we ended up in the hot tub.
Here's the deal. Everybody's coming in. Here comes Joe. It's almost dark, and he is beat up. I said, Joe, I know where there's a jacuzzi. He looks at me and goes, a jacuzzi in Mexico down here? I go, yeah. Go grab yourself a big Kawama Pacifico and come over here and meet me. And this guy had built this place, and he had 2 separate jacuzzis the size of 2 people, so you could get down into your neck. Old Joe got in there, drank that beer in one gulp, talking about a liter of beer, and he told me, he goes, Marty, I would rather crash land an airplane than do that again.
Hey, I thought I had survived a plane crash.
No kidding.
Here's another good one about Joe, real quick.
Uh-oh.
We put
Keep it clean.
Oh, okay, I'll try to. I put on this thing with the Zimmermans. It's called the Dirt. It was with Dirt Diggers, and it's a hometown reunion. So our second year, I was able to get Thorsten Hallman, Roger DeCoster, Joel Robert, my idol. You kind of get the picture. And there's every desert racer there. There's every speedway guy there, every flat tracker, motocrosser, and all these categories, right?
World champions.
Just hold on. You don't. It's just like your meat. Sometimes you just go too fast, Joe. Hold on.
Okay, you got it. Oh, guess what? We're running out of time. Marty,
you blew it.
You blew it. You didn't get the checkered flag, but you know what? We're going to get your little butt in here. We'll have you in here for an hour. I love talking to you, man. You are the best. So you just hang in there, and we will talk to you down the road. Folks, this is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl. 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 Sponsored by